Hi, everyone. First, I want to start off with what shocked me in the video. And the one that really shocked me was 79% of the people have not been on a funeral home's Facebook page. And that shocks me more or less because with generations now, social media impacts so many people's lives, and everybody has Facebook and different social media platforms, and it notifies people about passings if they've not seen it. It allows families to post their obituaries, and it allows the friends to see when their visitation times are, when the funeral service is taking place, if there is any services. And it'll also allow us to show who's in the family in the obituary. It's a quick access for them to see the obituary. And I personally, from personal experience, have seen the Facebook page's success. I've seen tons of shares, tons of views on our aspect, and I think it's always been successful, from my personal opinion. And another thing that really shocked me was the amount of people that have not actually sat down and planned a funeral. And I partly believe this is why is because we just are now going through the baby boomer stage of losing that generation of people. And now our parents are the ones that are dealing with the planning of the funeral for the first time, because their parents prior to them dealt with their parents and so on and so forth. So that really shocked me. And now to see, talk about different trends that are becoming of the funeral service. One big trend I've noticed from personal experience is personalization. Families are huge with where I work. When they come in and they pick out their printing, everything has always been custom. There is always standard. There's always standard here and there, but majority it's custom. Whether it's their photos, a collage of photos, just they want it to be unique and different than a traditional view. Whether it's a prayer card or a memorial folder, a thank you, it's lately been very custom. And I've also noticed from where I work, a lot of families have been wanting to write their own obituaries. I think in a way it has their own special touch. We always allow the families to decide if they want to write their own obituary. We always offer it, but we also offer to sit down with them and create it together as a whole family and with us. And I think there can be some downfalls from experience. Sometimes we don't get the obituary 4 days after the person passes away, when we might have, if we did it ourselves with the family, we would have had it a day after they passed or the day of they passed. So I've noticed more like a family's wanting to do it, but also a delay on the obituaries. And we also have templates that we use, and we give them to the families to help them guide their way through each obituary. Let's see. I also have noticed a bigger trend on wanting unique funerals, and not necessarily at the funeral home, whether it's at the person's house or if the person was a farmer, their barn. I've noticed that in general, they've wanted to personalize it as much as they possibly could. And another thing is cremation. A lot of families are choosing cremation nowadays, and they want to have it months later. Not everybody wants to have it the same week or next week or 2 weeks from now. I've noticed it's been 6 months to a year to the person's birthday. I've noticed where they're having it more at lunch facilities with banquet centers. And I personally believe they are choosing this because it allows people to be at the same place of where they're going to provide the food. it's a bigger area for people to have larger funerals, larger services, visitations, etc. And personally, I'm good friends with one of our local crematories, and he was talking about alkaline hydrolysis and how a few funeral homes and people have came to him asking him if he offers these services. And this is the first he's really heard of it, and he's heard it from a few funeral homes in the last, I would say, 2 months. He's heard from them about services for the alkaline hydrolysis, and he said he's more than willing to be the first one in Michigan to start it, but he just wants that confidence that more people are going to actually want it and not just have it sit there and he loses money on his. So I think there's a broad spectrum of things changing in the funeral service, and the absolute biggest I've noticed is personalization and an increase on cremation services, and overall just everyone wants unique services. It's not so much a traditional service anymore where it's a visitation one day and the next day funeral. They are wanting it in one day. Some still want it 2 days, but it's not, I've noticed, as traditional as what it was even 5 years ago when I first started in the funeral business. So there's a lot to think about as us future funeral directors, and I think as long as we are aware of things changing, I think that we will be able to adapt to these new changes, and we're in ages where people can relate to us and grow with us as a community and everything. So we are easy to develop friendships, relationships, and I believe we're in a strong position right now because we also grew up with social media, so we can advertise and platform and connect with others through that way. Thank you.